Hey everybody, it's Jess. I shared with you this morning my meal plan for the week, and you could see that most of our lunches throughout the week are comprised of sandwiches. We have peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, we have ham and cheese, turkey and cheese, grilled cheese, whatever kind of sandwich will work for us for that week. It's just easier with the kids. But for those sandwiches, I have really come to love making my own bread instead of buying the store-bought bread. And the recipe for white sandwich bread that I found that I like the best so far is the one that I'm about to share with you. This recipe is actually using my Cuisinart CBK 100 series bread machine. It'll work in any other bread machine too. This is just the one that I have that I'm using. You can also make this same recipe in the oven, but today I'm just going to do the recipe in the bread machine, and then another day, hopefully next week, I will come back with another video and blog post making it in the oven. It just takes a little bit longer. We've had a really busy day today, and we have baseball tonight. So bread machine it is today. So this is my bread machine. I love it. It has all of your settings up here. It lets you choose the loaf size, the crust color, what kind of bread you want to make, whether it's basic white, which we're doing today, gluten-free bread. You could even do jam, pasta dough, lots of different things in here. Okay, so first you want to be sure that you have your pan with the kneading paddle inserted. Put it into the bread machine. If you've had a bread machine for long at all, this is not new information to you. And then we're going to start adding our ingredients. I just showed you a snapshot of the recipe, so you can look at that and see what all you need. But we're going to be sure that we add our liquid ingredients first. It's very important in the bread machine that you go liquid, dry, and then yeast. So we have half a cup of water. We're going to add half a cup of milk. A fourth cup melted butter or vegetable oil, but I use butter because for me butter's better. Then we have 2 tablespoons of sugar or honey. Of course I use the honey. Came right out of our hives. We pulled it out maybe a month ago, so it's honey straight from our yard. Can't get better than that. So I'm going to put 2 tablespoons of honey. Now if you do sugar, it's still 2 tablespoons. Let that run off. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and put in our flour. We have 3 cups of all-purpose flour. You can also use bread flour. Either one I've found works just fine. This could be tricky. Gotta be careful that your flour doesn't pop up in your face. Okay, so we have that. And now we have 1 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And I'm going to let my son Weston add the yeast. We have 2 teaspoons of instant yeast. Just throw it right on top. There you go. And like I said, be sure that you add the yeast at the very end. So we have all of our ingredients added. These are the settings on this bread machine. So I'm going to select my loaf size. It's already set at 2 pounds, but if I wanted to change it, I'd just push this button. My crust color, it's already set at medium, but if I wanted to change that, it would be right here. And then menu. Usually, if you're using regular yeast, you're going to leave it on menu 1 for basic white when you're doing your sandwich bread. But as I've come to find out with several ruined loaves, if you use a yeast that has rapid rise on it, the Rapid Rise brand, you need to use this setting right here, Rapid Bake. I have made several loaves of this, and the bread will rise all the way up here. It'll keep going and keep going, and then it just sinks all the way down, and it's terrible. So I finally figured out that I need to use the Rapid Bake setting. It only stays in here for about an hour as opposed to 3 hours. So it just doesn't take as long to rise, and it works out great. I'm going to hit Rapid Bake, and I'm going to hit Start. And see up here it tells you I had 58 minutes. And again, if you use the regular basic white setting with regular yeast, it takes about 3 hours. And then you can lift this while it's mixing, and you can see it mix. And then I like to keep an eye on this while it kneads and while it's rising and resting, to be sure that there's enough flour, enough water, that everything looks good with it, and you can lift the lid all the way through until it's finished. So now we just let it mix, knead, it'll rest and bake all by itself, and in about an hour we can come back. We will take the bread pan out, flip it onto a cooling rack, and let it cool off, and then we can slice it, and we have our sandwich bread. So now we have our beautiful loaf of white sandwich bread, and when it finishes cooling, I will go ahead and slice it. I couldn't help myself. I went ahead and sliced one little piece off for myself, and since I sliced it before it cooled, it started to sink just a little bit, but if you don't do that, you'll be fine. But I'm very excited about having another loaf, and I'll probably make 2 more of these this week because we go through it pretty quickly. So be sure to subscribe to this YouTube channel and to my blog at faithfulfarmwife.com for more recipes, DIY tips, and so much more. And we'll see you later.